Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of In Lay Terms. Back with us is our good friend, Mr. Sam Anthony. Sam, welcome back.
Hey man, how are you? Good to be here. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too. It's always a pleasure to have you back on. I wish it was under better circumstances, given what's happened in your country. But tell us, how are you doing, and what have you been up to?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, we're speaking of the Charlie Kirk incident, which it really affected a lot of people. I mean, I have to tell you, I had I think it was it Thursday or was that the day or Wednesday? I don't remember what day now, but whatever day it was, I just remember when I heard that, my phone started lighting up. Okay, because of all the people contacting me, right? Which I'm sure you got and everybody else did, and I was I was affected to the point that I left. I said to my wife, I don't want to watch because she's watching on TV. I go, I don't want to watch TV, and I'm going to a bar. And she said, well, they're going to have TVs. I go, yeah, but I'm going to a sports bar. So I don't want to see any of this stuff. So I just had to take a break, get away. I mean, it just shut everything down right there. And even over the weekend, I'm still aggravated about it. So I'm grateful that somebody caught this guy. But this is the reason why what I do is so important, because this is really the media that did this. I mean, they were complicit in this whole thing. I mean, they're the ones that are actually promoting this stuff. And I don't know how much of your audience agrees, but I can tell you right now, the media is the problem. I mean, they have been just coddling these young kids and, just feeding them BS and lies and then making them the victims. I'm over it. Okay. So I've had enough. So it's time that we move on and we completely eliminate the mainstream media and we go to something like what we're doing, which is a people powered press, because the people really need to control the information at this point, because obviously the media, and I'm preaching to the choir here, but the media is definitely not your friend. They're not here to help. They're here to make sure that whatever it is, whatever agenda they're pushing gets done. And that's not going to benefit we the people.
So, Sam, for people who don't know what YourNews is, can you give like a brief overview and then answer what you just said? Lay out why it is that your news platform is going to prevent the media their ability to indoctrinate and brainwash people.
You've heard me say this before. The legacy media is not going to survive. Everybody knows it. Some people say it's because they're lying. It has zero to do with it. It's because on the last show, did I tell you what the numbers were for mainstream media? If I didn't, I'll tell the audience. First quarter numbers for cable news came out. Adweek comes out with them. People look up Adweek first quarter numbers. You'll see them. It's horrific. I mean, it's like Joe Rogan's bigger than every single network combined for one show. Okay, that's how bad it is. So there's no way they survive. 70% of their money comes from pharmaceutical ads, which I know Trump's working on some stuff to change all that. But it's really the younger generation and the age demographic between 25 and 54, which I've been saying for the last 3 months, which Megyn Kelly just said 2 weeks ago. She came out, I'm like, where the hell were you two months ago? The amount of viewers for network television over 3 months was a total of 500,000 people. That is not a day. That is total of 500,000 over 3 months. That's the reason they're going out of business. It's because nobody's watching. You want to know where everybody is? You ever hear of TikTok? Did you ever hear of Instagram? Ever hear of Facebook, social media? They're all on platforms. You got Facebook with 1 billion people. You got TikTok with 1 billion people. Where do you think the money's going? The money's leaving traditional press and it's going to other outlets because it follows the people. That's the reason they're going out of business. They don't have much time at all. Not to mention the average age of the cable news viewer is 72, it might even be 73 now. It's just getting up there. So what we do is our model is their model on steroids. It's the exact replication of their world minus all the print and distribution costs, and it puts the power of the press in the hands of the people. So we live in a world, Paymon, where the institutions are controlling all the narratives. Now, I'm old enough to know that, back in the 80s, there was over 500 independent news outlets here in the United States. Today there's six. There's six institutions that control all the messaging. And everybody's seen the Sinclair Broadcasting video where they say the same thing at the same time, right? The threat to our democracy. Well, you have to be smart enough to know that actually came from one person, right? Corporate. Nobody just decided to say the same words at the same time, 50 channels in 50 markets. So that is called centralized news. What I am is a platform, hyper local news, currently operating in the United States. Trust me, global expansion's coming. So we do local news in every city in the United States. So think of me as the local newspaper on steroids with USA Today wrapped around it. And we have a monetization model like YouTube where the content creators that are news reporters can share in the ad revenue. It's really simple. So everybody's familiar with YouTube. You have to get your channel to a specific size. And then once it's at that size, you get paid based on views. You're going to make more money if you have 10,000 views than if you have 1,000 views. That's just how it works. In our case, I take an out-of-work news reporter out of some city. It doesn't matter, Miami, Chicago. They write a story about the high school football game. We publish it to the sports section, to that market. They share it on their social media pages to the people who already like their content. And their people click the link to come to me to read it. We sell the ads and they get a percentage of the ad revenue. This is not rocket science. It's pretty simple. More importantly, this is what replaces the legacy media. It will be a hyper-local news platform, citizen-powered press, very broad in scope. So, Payman, I have people that do auto racing news. I have people that do entertainment news, that do movie reviews. I have people that are theater critics. I have faith-based content. I have sports, business, politics, entertainment, world, every single sport there is. And I have content creators that are producing all this. In addition, we have all of our content comes from we the people. A lot of them were former news reporters that have lost their jobs. And a lot of them have never been in the news business before. So you and I have had this conversation. You probably never worked for network TV, correct?
Correct.
Okay. But you do a broadcast show. And the reason you do it is because technology exists today where you could be your own broadcaster. What YourNews does is we've created a technology to make everybody a citizen journalist and be able to report news. So we don't have to deal with this crap anymore. And by the way, who knows the stuff happening in the local market better than the local people who live there, who are actually at the event? The answer is nobody. You're going to believe the guy who was there, or you're going to believe somebody on CNN that's telling you what they heard?
And the guy that was there.
Yeah, of course. So, this is a game changer for media simply. And this is where I was telling you the legacy media doesn't like us simply because we've created a platform where everybody else can do their job. They've set the bar so low. Give me a break, right? So, basically all you have to do is tell the truth. You win at this one. So it's ultimately the void we fill. Like when YouTube kicked everybody off, Rumble came into play. Well, a lot of people think Rumble was spawned them. They weren't. They were around since 2013. That's when they started. But 7 years later, everybody heard of them when COVID hit and YouTube started kicking people off. And all of a sudden, within 2 years, they had a $4 billion market cap, was the highest I've ever seen it. It's between 2.5 and 3 billion right now. And they have 250,000 people that have channels on that platform. So what we're doing, this is our niche is local news, and we do audio, video, and print. So it's all three. So could be anything from, like an event happening locally in a community to, a bake sale that a church is having, to some nonprofit having a 5K run, to local business opening up in the area, to political news, to, all kinds of stuff. It's just so broad. Bank robbery, car crash, city council meeting, high school football game. It's endless. And there's 20,000 cities in America, Payman, right? So even if we only had 5 people a city, which you will need a lot more, you're still talking about 100,000 news reporters. It's massive in scope.
Another thing I like about what you're doing is I characterize the media space right now. It's like an oligopoly. It's not really a monopoly. You mentioned there's 6 of them. What you're doing is you're decentralizing it. You're taking away their ability to do what they've done, which is pass a false message. Like they're just saying these guys are fascists. These guys are Nazis.
Completely. So we live in a world that has centralized news. So what we do is we completely decentralize the news business and we democratize who gets to say it. This is a game changer for media. So this is a disruptor in the space. Look, at the end of the day, the media is going to be gone. What will replace it? Mark my words, 100% accurate. It will be a platform. It won't be a website that's called My News. It's going to be a platform where millions of people can contribute and hundreds of millions can come in and consume content, but it's the content they want. Look, if you hate golf, you're never going to read it, right? Or watch a video on it. If you hate cooking shows, you're not going to watch the Food Channel. The point is we have all these food and wine, home and garden, we have sports, business, politics, so people can consume the information that they want to consume when they want to consume it. And that's it. This is, as I said, this is the local newspaper on steroids. And, you know, I'm going to tell you right now, anybody could get national news anywhere. You could get the Monday Night Football game anywhere. Tell me where you're going to get the high school football game. That's what matters to people most, is the local. National news is a dime a dozen. It's the local content. And I do local news in almost every market in the United States. By the way, currently we have over 5,000 news reporters and growing. And I just learned something. Years ago, AP, which nobody would have ever believed because I didn't believe it until I looked it up. Do you know AP was the largest news company in the world with the most news reporters all over the globe? It was, I thought it would be BBC or Reuters. No, it was AP. So at the time, they had about 4,500 news reporters, but a total of about 6,000 because people that were supporting, it could be camera people, secretaries, whatever. I looked a while back and they had dropped to around 3,000. Do you know how many? I looked it up the other day because I was telling somebody, no, they're dropping. I think they're around 3,000. 960 left.
Good. 960 to go.
900, that's it. Okay. And the comical part is I actually had people fill out an application from AP. So now they're starting to come to me. They have nowhere to go. Payman, there's 480,000 people that are freelance journalists on LinkedIn in just the United States. I haven't looked up. I probably did look up Canada. It's not nearly that number because you're 10%. But there's almost a couple 100,000 kids that just came out of school that don't have jobs. Nobody's hiring. This whole industry's imploded. So that's why I say what I do will become the next mainstream media, be complete citizen-powered press, stuff that the media would be able to hide. And I'm going to tell you this stuff because I know it to be factual because of all the people I'm around. Did you know that when somebody breaks let's talk about Amy Robach and the Jeffrey Epstein story that was going to air, and all of a sudden it didn't on the same day. Somebody made a phone call and that thing was nixed, right? She's just an employee. She can't do anything about it. Well, what investigative journalists tell me is when they're working for a newspaper and they've been working on a story for a year or two, and this is big, it's like a bomb, right? Something that people need to know about. When you bring it to the editor, it goes before a review board. The review board decides whether that story runs or not. I don't know if I ever told you this before, but I'm like, my mouth is open because I'm like, are you kidding me? So you have this massive story and there's a gatekeeper, okay? And that gatekeeper could be somebody's brother, somebody's cousin, a big advertiser, you know, somebody has a conflict of interest, and that story gets nixed. And then Alex Newman told me something different. Alex said to me, it gets worse, Sam. I've had stories that I wrote when I worked for a newspaper, and they completely switched it. So this guy was no longer the villain because it's not your content, it's theirs. And I went, are you kidding me? So here's how our platform works. You're the journalist, you're the editor, and you're the gatekeeper to the content. If you say it goes, you're the review board. It goes. So there's going to be a lot of information that comes out from people that have news. It could be a local politician in Omaha, Nebraska that has been funneling money. And if they have documentation, they're responsible for their own content, but that stuff will run. This is all the stuff that's been hidden. This is where it becomes, this is why I keep saying we're a disruptor in this space. This really is people-powered press. That's the coolest thing about the whole thing.
Sam, you're a pretty well-connected guy. Like, are you partnering with anyone? Like, I'm not saying out of the gate you'd partner with Tucker Carlson, but like a Matt Taibbi who released the Twitter files. Do you have anyone like that yet?
No, so I have other news outlets that call me for distribution for their content. And as long as I like their content, if it fits, I'll do it. I mean, somebody reached out to me from somebody else the other day, and they produce different verticals. Could be business, finance. They had wedding. I don't have a wedding section, but you know what? I'm going to create one, because if they want to provide all the content, they could fill up that category. This is what they do. And so now all of a sudden I'm going to have a wedding section. You might think big deal. Well, I mean, there's probably people that want to know about that stuff, right? You know, what kind of shoes match this dress? I don't know. I mean, but the point is that all my content comes in from everybody else. And so ultimately, when you say partner, this is more of a roll-up model. Okay. So like right now I've done no roll-ups, but I'm in the process of negotiation with the first one already, which I won't say what it's going to be because I don't know if it's going to happen or not. But I have my eye on a second one as well. But ultimately, think of me and you as, you know, we are developers and we build a football stadium. Well, we don't play in the NFL, but we own the stadium. So we bring in teams, which are the draw, and people come out front and they stand out front and they say, well, you know, we want to come in. So we sell all the tickets and the popcorn and the beers and the Cokes. Okay. We're in the developer business. I'm in the stadium business is what I'm in. I'm in the platform business. So the content creators, all they look for, and you as an example, there's only two things you're interested in: broader distribution and monetization. There isn't anything else. That's it. So what do I provide? Broader distribution and monetization, right? So it's my job to create tools for content creators to enhance revenues. This is why, you know, putting that follow button on that we talked about where somebody could follow Paymon means that as you build an audience here for your content, when you submit something, it'll automatically alert 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people you just posted, and you instantly make revenue when they click the link. That's my job. So
I got a question for you, actually. It just popped into my head. A lot of people are getting really angry at X because they're starting to suppress people. Like the algorithm has changed and nobody's getting any visibility. What's your search? Is it transparent like Substack, or is it kind of massaged?
No, currently it's last story in is the headline story, right? So there's like people come to me and it's pre-search, it's sports, business, politics, but it's local and national and state, right? So when you click sports, it's going to serve up all the content that's relevant to you. So like, yours is set up to, what does that say? Point Roberts, Washington, which I don't know where that's at, but do me a favor and click. You could do national news and you'll see go ahead. You're fine. National news. You see all the different categories. So if you want auto racing, go find it and click on it. Okay. So did you need a college degree for that?
No.
So the point is it's pre-search. And then this is all national news, but then if you click local edition and find top stories, this is going to be like the local section this is like the front page for local. Now, I don't know where. Yeah, that's it right there. You had it. Top stories.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
Yeah, you were right on it. Yeah. So, and then this is going to be local news for Washington, right? Because that's where you are. It could be city, it could be county, it could be market. So this is all Washington-based news. Okay. Or Seattle or wherever you are, right? Because we could drill down to a city. But now go to the top. Okay. So you open the article, right? So, and we sell all these ads around the sides, right? Now, if you click, what is that? Change your location. And you go to, let's say, 60601. Now, keep in mind, all this content is all my news reporters, right? So this is Chicago. And so the national news is going to be the same, but if you mouse over local edition and you click top stories, this is all going to be Chicago-based news right here. That's the Franklin Park story, the ice shooting, Franklin Park right there. So all of this content comes in from boots on the ground. I have 5,000 news reporters. Isn't that cool? And so because it's a bigger market, you get more content. So like if you went to local edition politics, you'll see even more stuff. A lot of it's state stuff. We get a lot of state news coming in, but I get stuff, I found out, but I think it's right above top stories. Like in that thing, you'll see politics right there. Yeah. So here you go. Somebody, an ex-governor died, right? So if you scroll down the page, all of this is either Cook County news and you notice there's an ad there which is for Cook County. That guy's advertising in that particular area. So all of this is Illinois news, or it could be the county, it could be Chicago-based news, but it's all news that's relevant to that area. So news is either city, county, market, state, regional, or national. So it's how we distribute information. If I took you to Florida and you went to local politics, you see all Florida politics. The beauty is all this content's coming in from my news reporters. Isn't that cool?
It's super impressive.
Dude, I got this stuff everywhere. It's amazing. Okay, all the content we get, it's like this website is alive. While we're talking right now, content is coming in. And all we do is check it. There's no fact checking, simply because the only thing somebody like you, which is a content creator, you have your credibility, right? If you lie, you're going to lose your whole audience. So content creators come on, before they submit, you'll see this. You'll have to check a box that says you approve that this is you're responsible for your own content. You won't hold us liable. If somebody comes after us, it's you, right? So you're accepting responsibility. Imagine that. Okay. This is why no liberals want to come on my site, because they don't want to accept responsibility.
I was going to say, well, I'm not familiar with that word. I grew up in an urban center.
Yeah. So you're responsible for your own content, and my content creators are what brings me my audience. So I have a gentleman that does Formula One news. He has a podcast. He does written stuff. All of his people come to me. Then I have people that do entertainment news, that do movie reviews. All of their people on social media come to me because they share the links. It's these same people can find your content. That's it. That's how it works. It's building communities. I know where you live when you log in. The thing is, we could have at least 1 million people that are submitting articles, and it's the content that drives the readership. Again, that's a platform.
You know, Sam, when you become the world's richest billionaire, I'll brag about how I interviewed you once.
There you go. Yeah. So, look, this is definitely something that has a lot of value. To me, if I was 20 years younger, I would be interested in the money piece. The money is always good. It's a byproduct. That just means you won. But at the end of the day, this world is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So the last thing, I have 2 grandkids. The last thing I want is my grandkids growing up in this world. Yeah. So it needs to be fixed. So here's what I do know. What's going to replace the mainstream media is going to be a hyperlocal news platform. There's no chance I'm wrong. You need a product that has millions of people being able to submit stuff to it, right? Because that's what drives massive amounts of audience. So it'll be a platform like this, which has a social component where the public can interact and share in the narrative. It'll have a monetization model for content creators where they can earn money off their work, and a self-service ad platform where they can buy an ad targeted to one zip code, everywhere in between, and most likely will be a global media giant. That's where it's all going. I just happen to be the only player. And now it's important that we scale this and build it as fast as possible.
Sam, another question popped into my mind. Obviously nothing illegal, so underage pornography or anything, but what about brutality? Like if there is I don't want to say something local, but if there's something with a lot of gore, like do you have like a limit on what people can share? If there was a car accident, if the pictures are too graphic, do you say no?
I haven't got anything like that yet. And I would suspect that usually when people write about the bank robbery or the car crash, somebody takes a photo, and then just one photo, and they'll write the story and submit it. I haven't got anything that was, gross. I mean, hell, the Charlie Kirk thing to me was gross. Okay. And, I turned off social media because I just didn't want to hear it. But, I'm sure we had that on our own site. I just didn't watch it. I won't do it because it hits home. It bugs me. To me, I felt like what we do and what Charlie does at some point in time would intersect, because they have content they want distributed. And this whole thing about, putting the power of the press in the hands of the people, I know Charlie would have resonated with him very well. So I think there would have been some kind of alliance formed between him and I, which now who knows what's going to happen there. I mean, Erica said she's going to continue and keep it going, but, we'll see. There's it's only one Charlie Kirk. I couldn't do what he does,
Yeah, it's a shame. Like I was thinking about, first of all, he's charismatic, but even putting aside his charisma and his charm, he spent 10 years. That's 10 years investment gone in the blink of an eye. This is, it's tragic, but we need to see justice. Like, this guy definitely has to be charged and convicted and hopefully executed. But same with anybody else that helped him.
Well, this one's going to be a lot easier than Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden and the Clinton, Obama, Soros. I mean, somewhere these guys get away with everything, but nobody ever. There's never any consequences. This one's kind of easy because he's already admitted to the crime. Right.
Somebody in the comments mentioned it as well. It's the NGOs as well, hence the RICO against Soros.
Yeah. So let me just tell you something, because I've been saying it forever. If you want to drain the swamp, you take away 100% of the money. Then all the criminals will actually leave. So these people are only there to enrich themselves. That's it. They want to gain power. And this is the screwed up part. They created these NGOs because if they were to take the money themselves, that would be a crime. But if we create an NGO and we give it to this group, even if the group never sent the money and said, we feel as though the Democratic Party needs this money more than anybody else, and all of a sudden they refunnel it back to all of a sudden that's not money laundering. But that was the whole plan from the beginning. That's the screwed up part. So once you cut off the money, they're gone. I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. Colbert's leaving his job, right? He's basically getting fired. Want to know why? Because there's no NGO money coming. They shut all that down. So the next step is, I personally think you should take all the paychecks away from Congress. You want to be a representative of the people? Represent them. You should already have money. Okay. And you should not be allowed to take a nickel. You want to show up and do your job, do it as a public service, just like Trump. I bet you only 1 or 2% of them stay. You'll get all new people who actually are there for a good cause.
You got a point there. It's like if you've ever lived in a condo, like an apartment building, you have a strata and you can sit on the council for the strata to make decisions, but you don't get paid. You volunteer because it's your building.
Exactly. So if you want to represent the people in your district, go ahead. You're just not going to get a check from us. Oh, well, I'm out. Well, okay. I figured you would be, but there's somebody that'll represent us and do it for free. Yeah. They don't go there to go broke. They go there to get rich. They turned it into a business.
What about Ilhan Omar? She had like 50,000 and then in a year she made 30 million. I might be wrong on the numbers. Well,
you might be, because I do know the black woman from Texas. What's her name? No, I keep forgetting it because they're going to get rid of her seat.
The one that shaved her head or what?
No. This is she came to Congress and I think she had a net worth of 11,000. And she's worth about 20 million now. And then 4 years. Explain that to me.
Overtime?
Right. And not paying taxes. Right. So, I mean, how is that even possible? So you wonder why they're so upset at what Trump's doing. It's because they're taking their piggy bank away. How could we possibly live our lifestyle if the public doesn't fund us? It needs to go. Now, I don't know how you do that. Remember, everybody in Congress they're lawyers and they write all these laws. They're not going to say, oh, we need a law that basically sticks it up our own ass. It's not going to happen. So how do you make that happen? And I don't know if an executive order would do it, simply because, they're going to say, no, that's, an act of Congress. We have to decide that.
I actually kind of do know how you make it happen. Things like YourNews, where you're giving power back to people, taking it away from the lawyers.
Well, ultimately, as we grow and get bigger, so currently we have over 5,000 content creators. It'll go to 10 and 20 and 40 and 50 and 100. That's where our real power comes in, is people-powered press. So we really, truly are putting the power of the press in the hands of the people. And as you get that grassroots movement, you're going to get more people that jump on that are more powerful, right? When you reach a certain level, you'll get a call from Tucker Carlson or Megyn Kelly saying, hey, good idea. How do we get on here? Yeah, sure. Set up an account. I'll let you call Paymon and he'll tell you how to do it.
Anytime, I'm happy to help.
Yeah. That's it. So the bigger you get, the more power you wield. And it's not power for me, it's power for them.
Have you reached out to Steve Bannon to get on his show?
Um, I have not reached out to Steve. I know Steve Stern's on his show quite often. Steve has mentioned me, but this is one of those things that as you get to the point where, I'll give you what I think the number is going to be. I think by the time we have 20,000 news reporters, all of them are going to want me on. Remember, I just told you the largest news company is AP that now has 960. I have 5,000. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I will. It's a bigger number. Okay. What are you going to do when it's 10,000? What are you going to do when it's 20,000? What are you going to do when it's 100,000? Okay. So at some point in time, they'll all want me there, but everything goes in stages. You can't catch a 500-pound marlin with a bass rod. You got to get there where you could. So that's all it is. So it's just getting to that point. I'll get there.
Have you considered reaching out to Stephen Colbert, asking him to come use your platform now that he's unemployed?
No, I have not. And I highly doubt they'll come my way. That guy's just got all the money he needs. He's just going to go lay low and retire. That's what he's going to do. He's not going to be a voice for anything. He's already raped and pillaged and got, money from taxpayers to be able to live his lifestyle. And he's just going to go away in the sunset. There won't be anything out of him once it's over.
Well, let's hope so. As long as he stays away, I'm happy. Let's shift gears to Canada. Small market, I know. We're 10% of the population, and we don't really punch above our weight. But what are your plans for Canada?
I'm still waiting. I want this button where people can follow independent content creators. So we're working on that. My developer was just calling me twice. I had to put it down. Once that thing gets completed, I'm going to create a Canadian version. That won't take but a month to do. It's because you got to change the zip codes. Like I'm not going to, if I were to do it just as independent, where it was YourNews.ca or something like that, it would be one thing. I'm going to integrate it with ours. So all the national U.S. news is going to flow in there, all the sports, just because we're adjoining, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that read U.S. news, right? They want to be informed, I would think. So the Canadian news, the local markets will run to whatever the counties of the provinces are, the cities. We could still do that. So you're broken up into 10 provinces. So we'll set those up like markets in the United States. We have the Chicago market, the New York market, the LA market. There's 210 of them. You guys have 10. So we'll set the 10 markets up with all the counties and all the cities, and then news can be distributed to them, where we can run the state stuff to the state, where the local stuff go to the local, the province stuff goes to the province, which would be considered a market, which carries all the national news from the United States, and you're good to go. That'll just take a little bit longer because I'm not doing it as its own independent offshoot. Like when we do the UK, they have to be independent. They can't be tied to the United States. It's different content.
It'd be funny as a joke. So for the American audience, you guys have zip codes, we have postal codes, you have states, we have provinces. It'd be funny if we put our version of a zip code in, and instead of going to our version of the state, it just goes to 51st state.
Well, yeah, the 51st state, right. Well, then you have to change all that. But, I don't really see that happening. I think you guys want to stay independent, number one. Number two, we don't want a bunch of liberals coming in, because I think the left would love it if you guys came over. So
it would be like almost a coup d'etat if you let Canada in. It would be a Democrat country forever.
What is it? Puerto Rico is a territory of the U.S., but they can't vote in U.S. elections.
Right.
But I don't really see Canada being a territory of the United States.
Do you know James Lindsay?
Who's that?
He's a social media influencer out of the U.S. I was talking to him, and he said, like, maybe we'll take Alberta and Saskatchewan. He's like, but we don't want another Washington. Like, we don't want the rest of you guys.
Yeah, I don't know who he is. What is he on? Is he on like X?
Yeah, he's on X at Conceptual James. He's on the right. He's sort of he speaks out against Marxism.
Good. We need more of him. He has LANDSAY.
I believe so. On X, it's at Conceptual James.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. Conceptual James right here. Here's his Instagram account. Okay. I don't want to play this if it's going to be loud, but okay. Conceptual James. So he's got 60,000 followers just on this. Okay. Yeah. I'm always interested in finding out who these people are. So, because I need broader reach and bigger reach, and these people are content creators, so they may be interested in my platform.
I'll reach out to this gentleman. It's funny, MS8719 in the audience. She says Matthew Arrett for Canadian content creator. I'll point him in the direction of your website. Matthew Arrett's a Canadian social media influencer kind of guy.
Okay, absolutely, yeah. The more, remember, we're going to have a Canadian version, so everybody can just flip over to that, and your guys are good to go. When we set people up, we set them in market. So I've been setting all the Canadians up in like South Florida here, so I got to move them over to where they are. But it doesn't mean we can't distribute content through both countries. It's actually going to be pretty cool.
Canada is it's such, what a United Empire Loyalist? Do you know what that is?
No, what is it?
It's from you guys. When you guys had the 1776 revolution and you kicked out the people that were pro-monarchy, they were called the Loyalists, and they all came to Canada. And I always say this to Americans. I'm like, you guys destroyed this country from the beginning. You gave us your riffraff, and now we're dealing with these people. This whole hatred of America that started in this April election we had, the elbows up, Donald Trump bad. We don't know how to deal with this. Like, we need all the help we can get from you guys.
The only thing I could tell you is success breeds success. And so if Donald Trump is not accurate, but if he's successful in implementing his plan, I could tell you what I think it is, because he doesn't call me. His plan is really to eliminate income tax altogether. It's to tariff the living hell out of everybody so that everybody else is paying for this. He wants to treat this like, where is it? Like Saudi Arabia, where the citizens actually get checks, as being kind of like Alaska gets checks because the oil companies, right? So you get dispersed. But there's another country where every citizen gets $100,000 a year from the oil. It's a Middle Eastern country. I don't remember which one it is, but
I would imagine Kuwait.
Maybe. Yeah. But whatever it is, he wants that model to be here, which then once everybody has prosperity that wants it here, other people in other countries are going to go, this sucks. We want that. And they're going to demand it. And so that's when change will happen. He has his work cut out for him. He's got to battle the politicians. Imagine running a company and all the executives are trying to work for another company, right? They're trying to do things that completely undermine the growth of your business because it undermines their paycheck. Look at what happened with RFK Jr. when they were, talking to him in Congress the other day, over the stuff that he's doing. Now, you have to understand this guy's really knowledgeable when it comes to the health of Americans and all the different vaccines and all the food dyes and all the stuff that's making everybody sick. And he actually shows you, here's what autism was 50 years ago, and here's what it is today. You can't dispute it, right? And so here's what we've isolated it down to. But then you actually have politicians on the left trying to make him look bad, but they all get money from Big Pharma. And he's got a speech impediment, but I don't think he's really, because to me, I would have said, look, lady, I'm not talking to you. I really could give a shit what you say, because you took 1.8 million from Big Pharma. So at that point in time, you don't represent the American people. You represent the company that doesn't like what I'm doing. So next question, you're over. That's how you handle it. And so, that person's going to go nuts. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I upset you? Well, you know what? Call Pfizer. They probably got another check for you. I think they're on the phone now. Go get it. Just aggravate the hell out of them. And also, when people hear this, they're going to go, oh my God, he's right. Because he knows how much they took as public information. Pocahontas took like 1.8 million. Give me a break.
He called her out, Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren. He's like, Senator, you took $500,000 from Pfizer.
But a total of like 1.8 over so many years, right? 500,000 might have been in the last year or two. But he needs to be meaner. Okay, lady, you took $500,000. I'm not having a conversation with you because you obviously don't represent the people of America whose kids have autism. You're representing your client. I get it. Okay. But this conversation is over. Thank you for your time. You could sit your fat ass down now. That's how you handle that. Do you imagine what Congress would do? I mean, you actually have somebody that's got authority that's talking. It's just bullying them. That's what we need. This is why they don't like Trump and why all the people like him. I heard, by the way, I heard some guy on social media, I don't know who it was a congressman, telling the media it was their fault that Charlie Kirk is dead. It's your fault. You did this. Every one of you here. So when somebody said something, goes, shut up. I'm not done. That's how you talk to these people. I was like, this is what we need him. This is
well, we're getting there. Like the US is the tip of the spear, because you are getting populist, grassroots, people with integrity. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, Kash Patel, RFK Jr., and they're going in there and they're saying these things that you're saying that they should be saying. The rest of the world's not there yet.
They'll follow, because once this country becomes an absolute superpower financially, and he's gotten rid of all the debt and people are getting checks for being citizens, everybody's going to go, I want to be a citizen of the United States, right? I mean, why can't we do that? And that's when you'll see change. Right now, it's all these politicians trying to figure out ways. And this is why you ever notice when politicians do something, it makes no sense. And it still doesn't make sense after they try and explain it. It's because it's not supposed to. And then they get the media to stand behind it, and then they get their experts. By the way, have you ever heard any of the experts on cable news talking about how everything Trump does is going to destroy the country, and it never does? There's never been one person right. There's no expert that has ever been right. Not one. We even have, what's his name in office? Who's the guy that's heading up our that does the interest rates? What's his name? Why did I just have a brain fart here? Who?
Powell?
Not Powell. No. Oh, yeah, Powell, right. Okay, so you want to know why he didn't lower interest rates? Well, because we're not sure if the tariffs are going to cause inflation. You want to explain to me how that's going to happen? Okay, because when I was 6, I learned that inflation was caused by printing money. Too much money tasted too. But all of a sudden, a tariff is not printing money. A tariff is saying, I'm basically taking a vig. This is the government, which is like organized crime going, I'm taking your money, right? So you'll have less to work with. It doesn't print more money into the system, but the reason they haven't been raising the money is because it might cause inflation, which makes absolutely no sense. You want to know why? Because it's mathematically impossible. When you print money, it causes inflation. But this is why they're not doing it. It's because they don't want him to win. If you lowered interest rates, it would spur the economy on even more. And you can't have that. We have to get rid of this guy. We're stuck with him for 3.5 more years. We have to figure our way to chokehold him and make sure nothing moves forward, just like they did the first 4 years.
I think it's actually even worse. So he's got the enemies domestically, but I think Trump also has enemies, foreign enemies. Every time he tries to do something right, like the peace summit in Alaska, they all came in and they tried to get Donald Trump, on a gotcha, that those 7 dwarves they sent. And then when Trump said no, they went to the weapons manufacturers and they got them to pressure Trump. Like I just feel like every time Trump does something for the people, they try to screw him over and discredit him.
There's no question, but you can't bully this guy. What are you going to do? So, I mean, that's just a complete waste of time. And then he's just going to make people look bad. So I don't see anybody really winning except him. The only thing he has to do is stay alive for at least another 3.5 more years. That's it. Because just like Charlie Kirk, nobody can do his job. It needs to be done by him. He needs to fix it and set it up so that anybody can do it. A monkey can do it.
I'll just say this. Thank God we have someone like J.D. Vance, not Mike Pence. I'm not hoping that anything happens to Trump, but like if it does, at least we don't have someone like Mike Pence.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. Mike Pence was definitely not one of us. He was part of the status quo, just like Bill Barr, right? Yeah. Just like most of the administration that Trump had. So this time he gutted it, and he's gutting it even further. I mean, you realize he got rid of the National Education Association. You know how huge that is? So, the numbers came out. I don't even know what they were, but the numbers in the United States were horrific in terms of reading, in terms of math. And, the amount of people that are proficient in math were like, and I'm going to make this up because it was something like 35% or something like that, which means 65% can't do it. I mean, and so We need the National Education Association so we could do what? Because before you came around, we were number 1. Now we're like number 150. So this is the comical part. It's not about the people. It's about dumbing down the population. Facts don't matter. So it's absolutely ridiculous. As far as I'm concerned, I think schools, I think the money, your tax dollars should follow any school you want to put the child at. So if you want your child to go to a private school, your tax money should go to that private school, right? It's not the way it is. Because
you're describing a voucher system now, as opposed to the monopoly system that they have right now, where they can just do whatever and no one can complain. You have no choice. You have no school choice.
So if you want your kid to go to private school, you pay for it, but you also have to pay for the other kids to dumb them down and make them dumber. This is just nuts. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, but yet they justify it. Oh, well, we need to do this. It's actually better for the people. No, it's not better for the people. But this is the world we live in today, Payman. It's where things that don't make sense, they're trying to sell you as this is the way it needs to be.
Oh, you don't have to tell me. I live in Canada. Nothing makes sense up here.
You can't even walk in the woods. You might cause a fire.
You can't even defend yourself if somebody breaks in your house and wants to kill your wife.
Oh my God. Can you believe that? And then did you ever hear the police here, the Polk County guy? You shoot them and you make sure they're dead so we can just come in and take them out and get rid of them.
Yeah, I love that. The guy's like, we actually prefer it if you shoot them. It's less paperwork.
I mean, don't let them do what they got to do. If they want to rape your wife, well, she probably needed it anyway. Okay. Just don't upset them. Think about that. So basically they're promoting crime.
No, it's an inversion of society. And we're watching it happen before our eyes.
Yeah, it's a shame it's got to happen. As long as the people will tolerate it, it's never going to change. But according to you guys, most of Canada is okay with this, right?
Yes. I mean, we can't. There's no political solution out of this. We can't vote our way out of this. It's strange.
Yeah, so I would leave. I mean, look, I've always said it here. I mean, I know exactly where I'm going if things get bad, I mean, and it would be within 30 days, I'd be out of here. So if it's going to get that bad, I mean, right now, everything's good and it's looking positive. So there's no real reason to go anywhere. But if it did, I could do my business anywhere on planet Earth. It doesn't matter. Why do I have to pay taxes to these people?
The sad thing is in Canada, it's been hemorrhaging conservatives since pretty much COVID, 2019. Mm-hmm. And what happens is those are the people that you need here to fight the system. But they look at the system, they're like, this is an insurmountable task overcoming all these liberals here. And they leave. And the liberals, they think, oh, we're winning harder. We must be doing something right. Like, no, the good people left.
Watch what happens with California. Watch all the people pack up and go. They've already been doing it. But New York, now that Mandami's might win, did you see Hochul just endorsed Mandami? Think about that.
God.
So, I mean, so now what happens is this guy wins. Most of the money leaves. Here's my guess. Okay, to keep in mind, this is a guess. I don't know. I was at the Broward Republican Party on Saturday night where they had Byron Donalds there speaking. And he wants to make Florida the financial capital of the world. He wants Wall Street to move to Miami. What did he call it? Silicon Beach instead of Silicon Valley. Okay, so you're going to start getting all that migrating because they don't want to deal with the crap and they got all the money. Remember, if you got money, it don't matter. You leave. I don't want to party with this. Thank you. I'm out of here. So you're going to see mass migrations and you're going to see all the money move. Do you know what happens to New York if the financial district leaves?
There's nothing left. I don't know.
Well, no, they have to wall it off just like Escape from New York. And that's where you throw in all the criminals. Okay. Remember the movie?
I do remember.
That's all you do. It just becomes one big massive prison. That's what they want. Remember, if you're a Democrat, you champion crime. You champion men beating the crap out of women in women's sports. You champion illegals over your citizens, right? The only thing you want is to take everything that everybody has because you know better. You're all in on if one of the people in my schools thinks that your little boy might be a girl, we have the ability to be able to give them a sex change without telling you that. We'll just tell you what hospital to pick them up at. Who the hell's on board with that? I don't care if you're a liberal. If you have a kid and next thing you know, you're getting a call from a school going, oh, by the way, the reason you don't go to the school, it's at the hospital. We just had a sex change done. Explain to me how many people you're going to kill. How many you think you'll get? 20, 30? I mean, at that point in time, that's liberals. So that's what they stand for. So it kind of makes common sense that we wall off New York.
I'm reminded of you guys had a presidential candidate, Barry Goldwater. This is from a long time ago, and
like the 70s, the 60s. What the hell?
Yes, yeah, 60s.
How old
he's
are
a senator. Yeah, he's a senator in the 50s, and he said somebody asked him a question about New York. He's like, we should carve it out and push it into the Atlantic.
Yeah, and remember, that's got a huge financial hub, and that financial hub may leave. Remember, all the people with money don't care. They got it. When you're worth a couple billion and you could, or in the case of the New York Stock Exchange, the people that own that have mega wealth. We just move it over here. Then everybody gets to go to Miami. Oh, that's so horrible. Okay. So that's the point. That will end up taking place.
So Sam, on the issue of finances, shifting it back to YourNews.com, you were telling me about your system for evaluating your company in comparison to the other, YouTube, Rumble. Can you speak to that quickly?
Yeah. So when you're dealing with platforms, they're valued on their user base. And we had this conversation. If somebody were to give you a platform like X or Facebook, that worked identical, maybe it was the exact download. It's worthless without the user base, Payman. There's nothing you could do with it, because it's the users that make X. It's the users that make Facebook. It's the users that make YouTube. If you have 0 users, it's worthless. Who's going to buy an ad? Who's going to come to it? So there's really no value. The value's in the user base. Certainly the technology is a value, but it's kind of a given. So for products like Facebook and True Social and X, everybody can have an X account. Everybody can have a True Social account. Everybody can have a Facebook account. But not everybody's a news reporter. So there's 2 different values, which I learned. And the way you come up with what the value is of a user is, as we said, you take the market cap of the company and you divide the user base into that market cap. So to make it simple, if the company has a value on the stock market of $1 million and you have 1 million users, everybody's worth $1. That's just simple math. Well, the platforms, when I look this up, everybody that has like a platform like X or Facebook, everybody could have an X or Facebook page. The value to those was under $100. Well, we don't do, not everybody's a news reporter. So we have to talk about comparables, because all my content is news, and news is either audio, video, or print. Well, there's nobody that does the print news like me. The only ones that are done are audio and video. And those are primarily YouTube and Rumble. Those are the only 2 publicly traded companies. So what I did was they call them channels. So YouTube has 51 million channels, but it's part of Alphabet, which owns, I don't remember, 150 or 60 companies. It's got a $2.4 trillion market cap, which it could have changed. Last I checked, I have no idea. But at the time when I looked, YouTube did an audit and their value was 550 billion of the 2.4 trillion, which makes sense, right? And so I took the user base of, call it 50 million. Remember, Facebook has 1 billion. Okay. X has 600 million, but YouTube only has 50 million. It's because there's less news reporters than there are, people that do video, audio, print. So you take the 50 million and divide it into the 550 billion, it's 11,000 per user. And I went, wow. And so that actually does make sense to me. Now, keep in mind, you could have Joe Rogan, who's worth more money than you, but because there's 51 million people that are pushing content and they have billions of people on there, if Joe Rogan left, it wouldn't even dent the traffic. You wouldn't even know it. So they just do the average. Yes, one individual's worth more, but this is the whole average is 11,000. So I go, okay, well, what's Rumble worth? Well, Rumble has 250,000 channels, not 50 million. So it's way smaller. And at the time when I did it, they were worth 3.2 billion. So I just said make it 3 billion. If you take 250 million and 3 billion, there were 12,000. Right now, I think it's at 2.5 billion. So it's like 10,000. So figure content creators on platforms that do news, which would be comparable to what we do, because we do, I have the same people on YouTube and on Rumble and are on my platform, so they'd all be valued the same. So the value of a user is between 10 and 12,000 so far. It's all based on market conditions, which could rise or fall, but it's far greater than a platform that can have everybody, right? So current value, because we have 5,200 content creators, so at 5,000, if it was 12,000, it'd be 60 million. If it was 10,000, it'd be 50. So it's between 50 and 60 million dollars on the value. So when I double it, it'll be worth 100 million, 100 to 120. And I bet you that don't take me more than 4 months to do.
So that leads into, we're about to wrap up the show. I'm going to bring up your, tell people how they can invest in your company while I bring that page up.
We'll bring up YourNews and go to the bottom. So it doesn't matter when you're at yournews.com. If you scroll down to the bottom of the page, there's a button there that says invest on the right at the bottom. So we're using a brokerage firm. We're doing something called an equity crowd fund, where people can actually make an investment. And if you scroll down a tad bit, if you look to the right, it says that we're raising $1,235,000. There's a $200 minimum investment. We've raised, if you scroll down a little more, it should show you the amount of money raised. Maybe yours doesn't. Mine does. It would be. Oh, there it is. Can you make that bigger?
Yeah, I just gotta. It's gonna get pushed down somewhere. Let me go find. There it is. Wait, that's not it. It's got to be here somewhere. And when you zoom in, it disappears.
It's not that far down. It's at the top. It's right at the top. You got to go right or left, maybe. Go left. Right there. Okay, right there it should be. What the hell? Well, maybe
no. It's just when you zoom in, this goes away.
Okay. Well, anyway, that shows, I think, 386.8, right? 386.8. But it's more. We're probably more like 397 or 8. Okay, because there's money in there that hasn't come in. So we've raised roughly a third of the money. And so we're doing a 1.2. Now, the value we're doing this at is at 20 million Paymon. So we're valuing it at a deep discount. I told you, I think I told you, did I tell you I hired a marketing company? Yes, I did. So a company that strictly does equity crowd funds, because what we want to do is cast a bigger net. So we've done about a third of the raise, but I'm going to do another one after this. So this one is done at a $20 million valuation. So when the company saw it, they go, what's your valuation? I said, 20 million. They go, you're giving it away. I go, no, give it away a little bit. This primes the pump, because the next round, we're going to value it at 100 million. We're going to do a $5 million raise. So this one, we're giving up 6 or 7%, followed up by 5%, followed up by an IPO. And so the whole purpose of this is this money here basically gets me 1.5 years to be able to scale and grow, and to go from 5,000 content creators to 20 or 30,000. While simultaneously raising the next money, within the next 24 to 36 months, we should be able to get this to 50 or 60,000. So at 50,000, you're worth somewhere around 500 or 600 million in value. And that's when you take this public. So here's the plan, Paymon. An equity crowd fund is anybody can participate. They could spend $200. The reason I'm not doing this through institutional money is because it's the reason we're in the mess we're in today, is because all the institutions own all the media. Okay. So this is truly a people powered press. So I'm taking a little longer to do it, simply because I want the people to own it. So when you do this round of 1 million followed up by 5 million, it'll all be independent people, thousands of people owning this. And then we get it to the point where it's worth $500 million. Now institutional money is irrelevant, because you're not going to be selling more than 10 or 15%. What are you going to own? You're not going to control anything. So that's the reason. It's important that we own the media, not institutions. So I'm doing this, if I was 20 years younger, I might have a different reason. At this stage of the game, this is really just to make sure that my grandkids don't have grown up in this crazy ass world. Okay. So it's just, if this is the next mainstream media, we want the people to own it, and make no mistake about it. If it's not me, it'll be someone who creates the identical platform. Here's the thing. There is nobody else. By the time you get this to 20,000 people, it's over. So when you ask me, When are you going to be able to get on Tucker? When are you going to be able to get on? By the time I'm at 20,000, they'll have me 100%. It's because you're inevitable. There's nobody has 20,000 news reporters. Nobody. And I'm basically picking up the pieces from all the people that they're losing their jobs and more.
It's ironic. It's almost like you owe your success to the Democrats and the Democrat policies.
Look, I know I'm going to be hated, by those people, but yeah, and I don't know that it would be a success. Look, the media was going to go out of business anyway, whether they were telling the truth or not, because the younger generation doesn't consume information that way. So everything is done on podcasts, not for nothing. But what does it cost you to pull this podcast off? What did this cost you today?
It's $200, probably like $3, $5 for the license fee.
So if you had a whole network of people that were doing the same thing on one channel and you were doing hourly news and you had, let's just say 12 people, it's 3 times, it costs you $36 to $50. Okay. My point. What do you think it costs Fox News to operate daily?
I don't know, $25 million.
Okay. How do you compete with that? What do you spend on your network? Well, I spend $50 a day. What do you spend? 50 million. I mean, that's why. Because, internet advertising is laser focused and it's way more cost effective. And the younger generation is getting information this way on demand. This is something that somebody could watch 3 months from now. Explain to me how you're going to watch yesterday's Fox News 3 months from now. I mean, nobody cares, right? But these are shows that are evergreen. So they'll be around forever. The news is the news. So all that old guard is just antiquated. It literally, payment is like saying, well, how come we don't have horse and buggies anymore? Because somebody created a car. Well, how come we don't send a telegraph anymore? Hey, dipshit, it's because somebody created this. That's the reason. There's always a product that replaces somebody else or something else. And what we do is their model on steroids. It's the exact replication of their model, but it allows the public to interact, which is what they're absolutely opposed to. Could you imagine free speech in Canada? You imagine the uproars? Let me just say this. Here's what I want to hear one day. I want you to call me to tell me, Sam, my country hates you. They're coming after you. You're the topic now, because I want them to literally hate me. And they're not hating me. I just have a platform, right? Your people are posting this stuff. You hate them, but it's always I'm the villain. Right. So I don't mind being the villain. It's good.
Well, we can hope that one day that'll happen here. Sam, you've already answered this, but while I bring up the X page for YourNews.com, tell people, where can they how can they learn more about you? How can they, I don't know, register or anything?
No. So first of all, I certainly have a LinkedIn page. Just look up Sam Anthony. You'll see my face. I look a lot younger in that photo. But when it really comes to what we're doing, what we're looking for is news reporters, and by the way, do me a favor. That might be it. That might be our company account. Okay. I don't handle any of the social media stuff. I know we have this account. I know we don't do a lot on Facebook. We have an Instagram account, which is pretty freaking big. And we have a Wimkim account with like 60,000 followers on that one. But there's a thing there that says become a citizen journalist. If you're interested if you're interested in becoming a news reporter down there, you click that. And this will take you to a couple videos which you could watch, which are going to be right there. And if you like what you hear, you scroll down and there's an application right there. You fill that out. It comes in. We activated it. Paymon, you got the activation. You're ready to go. And then you're a news reporter. That's it. And you're either gonna love it or you're not. The people are either gonna like it or they're not. But it's not that hard to be a news reporter. All you got to do is tell the truth. I know that's a crazy thing. Okay. In the world we've been living in, where these people just try and gaslight the living crap out of us. Imagine if you actually told the truth. But then you're going to get 86 and you're going to get, what do they call it when they ban you on everything? Well, that shit's over. It's not happening anymore. They always said to me, you're going to ban you on social media. I go, I don't have any social media. It works for me. I'm just old school. I've never done any of that social media stuff. I do things on LinkedIn and I say nothing because we use LinkedIn to build our business. But
right.
Well, I won't comment. I won't say anything. You say, oh, wow, you look really nice. He's a racist. So I say nothing, that's the best thing to do. Anyway, so that's it.
Sam, I told you that I wanted to end the episode with a video. And this is a candlelight vigil that they held in Calgary, Alberta. It's a province here in Canada. And they're singing the American national anthem. This is in honor of Charlie Kirk. So it's just 55 seconds, but here we go.
For it. Yeah.
So apologies if the audio wasn't very loud, but you can find it on X.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that came out of Canada. See,
Yes.
This guy was like a global brand. I mean, people just loved him. It's a shame that we have to deal with this crap. And look, I don't set the rules. Mine would be a lot different. But in any event, look, justice will actually prevail here. He will get justice. The question is, when will the Clintons? When will the Obamas? When will Soros? When will Nancy Pelosi? When will Chuck Schumer? When will I got to think there's just hundreds of names that we could come up with. But when are these people going to have justice done to them? So, this was simple because, the guy confessed to it and his family turned him in and they got the gun. I mean, this is just a slam dunk. But, this needs to happen. They need to really start locking these people up and getting rid of them forever. So trust me when I tell you, it's, when you listen to what Nancy Pelosi used to say and Chuck Schumer used to say when they used to talk about we need to get rid of the illegals, when you listen to Bill Clinton talk about all this stuff, what changed? All of a sudden it went from, we need to secure the borders to we need to make sure everybody's here. What changed? And the only thing I could think of is they were losing their voter base and they needed new ones because it wasn't sustainable, their ideology. And that's why they needed all new people in so they can have the new voters. It's the only thing I can figure. I mean, that's, to me, everything has to add up and make sense. That's the only logical conclusion because nobody's on board with it except that if you take a percentage, there's probably 2 or 3% of the United States that's on board with it. All the rest isn't. If you made it where, okay, we're going to bring in every illegal is going to cost this much a year. Here's a GoFundMe page. You could fund it, and that's how many illegals we're going to bring in. How much money do you think they'll get in?
0.
So I'm in, and as long as everybody else pays, I'm not going to pay. So start making people pay. If I don't have to pay for an illegal, go ahead, let them sit here. If they kill somebody, just get rid of them.
It's what you said earlier. Take away the money. Like that's if you want the politics to stop.
It's completely the answer. All monies need to be taken away. If you want to be a representative of the people, do it on your own dime. Okay. There's plenty of people that will. So, and you can't take any campaign contributions because at the end of the day, what is a campaign contribution? What is it? It's a bribe. That's all it is. It's a bribe. Hey, I'll give you money if you do this. Well, how much are you giving me? Well, I can't make any guarantees, but I'm going to do the best I can. Okay. Well, you start throwing more money at them and they'll give you guarantees. I'll get this done. And that's what it's all about. And that needs to end. They turned representation of the people into a business model. It went from I'm your representative to I'm your leader. You don't make the choices in the community. I do for you because I'm smarter than you. And there you go. So I bite my tongue. I ain't no Charlie Kirk. So, kumbaya and love, screw that. Okay. This needs to end. That ain't my personality. So, good riddance. Look what Trump's doing. He's just the National Guard in Chicago. Okay. I mean, where else has he got him right now? Has he got him in New York? Has he got him in Tennessee? I turned all social media off because of Charlie Kirk. I don't want to see it. So I don't know where they're all at right now, but these are all these governors were testing this. And if you ever look at all the big crime, like they'll say, well, Tennessee, which is conservative, is all crime. Well, no, not in the big
Democrat cities. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all run by Democrats. So could you imagine he's cleaned up DC where there's almost no crime, nothing. Okay, want to know why? Because you have such an excessive amount of force in there. It was like, shit, we need to go somewhere else. Kind of like if you remove all the money from the crooks, well, we got to go over here. We got to rob this bank because that bank's closed. We can't get in. So go ahead.
Like a lot of people are saying that what Trump is doing is wrong because he's bringing in the National Guard.
Who's a lot of people? The people that don't want him in because they want the crime?
That or like the people in the center or the middle. My point is, in Canada, things are getting so bad here with the corruption and the criminality in our political system. If we don't find a political solution out of this, mark my words, the only solution is to have an authoritarian, like a military style rule to come in and say no more. Like, we can't have a country when the politicians are violating the laws and they're profiting off of it. It's the only outcome.
Well, it was happening here. I mean, look at Jeffrey Epstein. Same thing. I mean, who do you think was benefiting from that? All this child sex trafficking comes right from your country, too. Those people were having sex with these kids, too. You know it, right? So it's a civil war is the last thing, right? Because then nobody wins. Here's the issue. When you have power like they have, they don't want to give it up. And they're going to do everything to keep it. They're never going to give it up. So you can either find yourself a Donald Trump that gets in, which, by the way, you saw what they did to him with lawfare. You can't run somebody that's got $10 billion out of money. There's not enough lawyer fees in a day. Okay. It can't be done. It's a joke. They manufactured things, went after him. They brought in juries that would convict him, which nobody on planet Earth would have ever got convicted for, and yet he's still the president of the United States. That's who you need. And so I don't know who that person would be in your country, but this was a movement, and now you have somebody doesn't even take a paycheck. Well, I don't know why, because he doesn't need it. It's irrelevant. What are you going to give me, $250,000 a year? I spent that for lunch last year. I mean, his gasoline to go places on his plane cost more than that. So you need somebody that's going to represent the people, but has the power that he does. He's just a force. His brand is so big. I mean, and so now once he got in there once and they saw what he did, then they tried to kill him. Now he's in there again. It's over. They have no power. And watch what happens in the next elections. Mark my words. This is going to be a blowout of epic proportion. I'm predicting that after the midterms, the Democratic Party within 12 months won't exist. There's no reason to, because nobody stands for what they stand for. It'll be gone. I mean, their whole ideology and what they stand for represents 1/10% of the population of the United States.
Sam, I would have to agree with you on that, because first of all, they took away their money. You can tell that their stranglehold on the media is gone. This isn't 2016 or 2020. Nobody supports their policies. This assassination of Charlie Kirk has really turned a lot of people away from the Democrat Party, watching what they've, glorifying this guy's death. And if the economy picks up, I think they will take over the midterms. Like, this is an existential crisis for the Democrats.
They can't win. Okay. And I also had some conversations on Saturday with people that seem to know what they're talking about. And Trump's basically going to do an executive order, and they're going to eliminate all the machines, all paper ballots. Now they're going to have one day. So none of this has been announced yet. Okay. So we'll see. I'm just having a conversation with people. I was at that Broward County Republican event. All right. And so if this were to happen, now they have no way to cheat, because Trump in all the swing states, Trump's at every single voting place. There's going to be a bunch of people, lawyers in there watching everything. He's going to have his own people in. It basically means that no cheating can take place. All going to be paper ballots, no machines. Mail-in ballots are a thing of the past. And if it ain't done by midnight, it ain't ever getting in. And so there you go. We've been living in a world where every single election, you had the results same night. Now, all of a sudden it's been 6 weeks. We're close. We're close. We just need to wait for that truck to come from San Diego with the rest of the votes so we can put them in and count them. All that stuff's coming to an end.
Don't forget the voter rolls. I mean, if he manages to clean out the voter rolls and get the illegals off that,
I've talked to those people. So
they're going to lose some seats.
Well, not to mention all the gerrymandering they're doing now to just basically eliminate the Democrats. So I mean, Texas, there is no representation for Democrats. So that's the one I was telling you about. I can't think of her name, but Jasmine Crockett, right? That's the woman that came in, was worth 11 grand, and now she's worth 8 million in 4 years.
That's the American dream. You work hard, you make your way through.
No, this is complete theft. I mean, it can't be done. So, good riddance to these people. To me, I can't see how they survive, because everything they stand for is what 99% of the people are opposed to. I mean, like I said, tell me one person that thinks child sex trafficking is a good thing. And they go, oh my God, thank God we have child sex trafficking. I don't know what I would do without it. Oh my God, my kid, he's a pain in the ass as a little boy. I'd love his dick chopped off so we can make him a girl. Oh, I hope the school does it. And nobody says that. Yet these people in these liberal states will do it to you. They've already passed laws that says it's legal.
One of the most heinous things, and we're going off topic, but I love this, that's happened in the last few years under Biden. They went after parents, called them domestic terrorists. Do you remember that?
Oh, completely. All they did was stand up and say, we're not on board with this. And, the reason is we feel this is not good for our children. Oh my God, the FBI is going to have to show up at your house because you're a problem. And they did.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, Americans, they have good long-term memory. I don't think they're going to forget that come the next midterms.
Dude, nobody's forgetting it. This is payback. And I'm going to tell you right now, Trump always says, oh, no, we're just going to get this common sense. This is all payback. Okay. You think for a minute that he's not going to want Hillary Clinton arrested. He's not going to want Biden arrested. He's not going to want Obama arrested. Obama was spying on his campaign. What would blow me away is if they didn't do it. And if they don't do it, to me, what that tells me is those people are above the law. They will have the ability to do this forever.
What I think is going to happen, they might give Obama and Hillary a pass because it might set a precedent. He wants to make it so that nobody can go after him as a president. But I really want to see Comey and Brennan in jail for the rest of their lives. Like, Comey's the FBI director.
Oh, I know who he is. I talked to his cousin. His cousin's one of my contributors. She says she hates him. Yeah. She lives, about 40 minutes from me. Yeah. So I get it. I mean, she says that guy's just sick. I think that he's going to go. I think if they can get charges on Obama, I think they'll do it. I think if they get charged, they want them all. Okay. This has been a crime syndicate. And what they did to Trump for not really. So he got 40 counts for getting a loan from a bank that would never loan to anybody. They only do 100 million plus loans. And so the state of New York said that they damaged the people there because they couldn't get loans from a bank that would never give them loans. And the bank went and did their own audit, came up with their own numbers. They agreed to the terms. Trump paid them all back, and that was a crime. Okay. It's something. Look, if I think my digital property is worth 50 million and you're a bank and you say, no, it's not, it's worth 20. Did I just commit a crime?
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. But this argument, when I used it against my left-wing friends, they didn't want to listen to me. They're like, no.
Matter. So by the way, did you ever hear they valued Mar-a-Lago at like 8 million? Did you ever see that?
Yeah, they did that they did it for a reason, right? To prove that he was wrong, committed a crime.
No, well, he showed the value was X. Let's say it was 130 million. They go, no, it's not worth more than 8. Did you know the little house that was the size of his beach house sold for 30 million right next to him?
I didn't know. I remember this when it was happening. Okay, I'm like,
but wait, but that was not allowed in evidence because that would have been the truth.
It was a kangaroo court, yeah.
Completely. So have you ever been to Mar-a-Lago?
No.
Okay, so all I can tell you is this: when you walk in there, you're like, you got to be freaking kidding me. It's
Man,
just like,
you just have to look at an aerial photo of the place. It's got like a stadium style parking lot. Like the parking lot is huge. The parking lot's worth 8 million.
the property without anything on it is worth like 50. Okay. It is a massive lot. And wait, it's all the way to the ocean, all the way in the back to the intracoastal. It's both. It's and the whole house is like a wraparound with this other building, which has all the events and this massive pool. Listen, they have a restaurant on the second floor that's outside that probably seats 400 freaking people. Okay. It's his house. This is his house. And he has tables for 400 people. And so you could dine there, like, members are there and you could go and eat and you hang out, it's crazy.
No, the whole thing was like, you had the rating on Mar-a-Lago. You had the bank situation where they said you undervalued your house. You had the accusations of sexual assault in New York, where they changed the law to extend the statute of limitations. You had, what was the other one? What was the one he got the mugshot for?
I thought that was for it was for the bank where he faked bank documents that showed his house was worth more. Yeah. So
that was a Jack Smith one. And then you had that fat guy out of New York. What was that? The Soros prosecutor?
I don't even remember anymore. I mean, this poor guy went through hell, and it was all a kangaroo court because all of it was it was based on non-facts. It was all fake news and how they put it all together. And so it's kind of comical that the woman that was going after him for this, that said, we will put him in jail, we will find a crime. They had to manufacture the crime because
there was that idiot lady too. There's so many of these bad actors. They were actually bad actors as well.
So now they've got her on fraud because she's the one that actually filled out that her home was in another place so she could benefit from a mortgage, right? So she's not paying a higher interest rate. So basically everything that Trump did, that she said he did, she actually really did.
Right. But I think Trump is doing it the right way. They're using the rule of law. Yeah, that's the one. So they went after her. I think it was Adam Schiff. He's getting hit with some real estate fraud charges.
Yeah. So I talked to the woman who found that. She's out of California. I had a conversation with her and she was doing all she does is read stuff. She consumes everything and finds things that are not right. And then she sends them to the proper people. So I had a conversation with her about 6 months ago. She was telling me, that's the reason that he's going through this because I found it. She goes, all I do is sift through. He goes, the stuff nobody wants to read. When you go, I agree. Everybody just hits, I agree. She goes, I read every word. That's how she is. So she read every word and she goes, look at this guy. He's got a residence here and he's got a residence over here. And he's claiming both of them as his primary resident. She's the one that got him in trouble. She found it. So somebody has to sift through this. And usually it used to be the media that did this.
Yes.
Okay, but the media would cover that up. The media would actually call up the banks to say, look, we are, we need to make sure this gets hidden. That's the world we live in today. So thank God there's people out there that are, trying to help. So she found that stuff. So all those courts said they haven't gotten to trial yet, but she'll be convicted. So will he. Can't not. It was both houses are my primary residence. Okay. Which one? The one in California or the one in New York? Or DC? Which one's your primary? Okay. Which one? So you knew one of them wasn't. So you signed it, which means you're committing fraud, real estate fraud. And the only reason you're doing it is because you didn't want to pay a different interest rate.
This is like a slam dunk case.
It is a slam dunk. There's no way out of it, at least with this administration. So if they could push it to another administration and there was with which there ain't going to be, then maybe they could get off. But this is that's why you don't hear from Adam Schiff anymore.
Yeah. It has a chilling effect. But I think in a certain respect, Donald Trump said, all right, the gloves are coming off, no more Marcus of Queensberry rules. We're going to charge you with something because you did something illegal, but also because it's going to silence your ability to go out there and spread your hatred and misinformation and lies.
Yeah, it's all coming to an end, Payman. It's all it just doesn't seem to go fast enough, does it? It's like watching grass grow. You're sitting here going, oh my God, when's it going to get? I mean, at least they got this kid real quick, so let's see how long that takes. But honestly, I believe that Yeah, the Podesta's got to go too. Agreed. All those people have to go.
Who was Podesta? Refresh my
John
memory.
Podesta. So these are people that were part of the Clintons, part of Pizzagate. All child sex trafficking. I mean,
Oh, we should probably throw Perkins Coie in there. Who was that MI6 agent? Steele, Christopher Steele, the Steele dossier.
yeah, the Steele dossier. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that that's going to go anywhere anymore, but it eventually will all come to fruition, and the net result will be the next.
Anthony Fauci.
God. Well, don't forget he's been pardoned. So the question is, can they unpardon him?
That's right. Yeah, that's the whole thing about the digital signature thing.
Yeah, and then the other question is, how could you pardon somebody who didn't commit a crime? That just doesn't seem well. Like if somebody committed a crime, you can pardon them for the crime. This is why they pardon people and get them out of jail. How do you pardon somebody for when no crime was committed?
That's almost like you're giving them a license to commit crime.
Well, what they're saying is between this time and this time, you're not liable for anything you did. But what crime did you do? You didn't do one. In other words, you have to pardon somebody that already committed a crime that's serving time. So how do you pardon somebody? Why didn't they just pardon everybody in the United States? Everybody's pardoned. Okay. It doesn't make any sense. So did he commit a crime and you're pardoning him? Because wouldn't there have to be indictments and then get arrested and then you pardon him after the fact? So it obviously he committed crimes. There's no question he committed crimes. So this was the cover up of the crimes before they actually had a real administration that would go in there and say, holy crap, this is what you did, which was, what do they call that with the gain of function? Okay. So you actually did all this stuff. You funded it. You were creating crimes. So you are culpable. We are taking it. As far as I'm concerned, that all should be thrown out. I would grab him and snatch him and bring him to Guantanamo Bay. That'd be the end of it. Yeah, we're going to do military tribunal. That has nothing to do with it. And then anybody who opens their mouth, we're bringing you there too. You get to stay here too, and you get to watch.
They made such a mockery of the rule of law. I'm thinking of the name of the lawyer. He looks like a gangster. He's got that goatee. Do you know who I'm talking about? Is it not Mueller? He took he took that guy all the way to the D.C. court, and they acquitted him. God damn it! What was his name? The high profile, the special counsel investigating Russiagate.
That was Mueller.
Was it Mueller?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, not him. That after him, they brought another prosecutor and he investigated this Perkins Coie thing. God damn it! It's gonna kill me. So let me just Google. I don't usually do this live, but
who was he a special prosecutor for?
It was during the Biden administration.
But what was he special prosecutor for?
I want to say Perkins Coie. It was one of those guys. If anyone in the audience knows what I'm talking about, special prosecutor.
John Durham.
John Durham. There we go. Sorry, I'm getting old. Remember, he took the case all the way. It was a slam dunk case, but it was DC jury, and they acquitted the guy.
Yeah, they probably already know they're going to get acquitted. That's the shame of this whole thing is this is all rigged. Yeah, so all the stuff they should have won and they didn't, and it's because they knew they weren't going to intentionally. I mean, I just don't buy any of it. When you have the news media that's saying what they're saying, and all these people they're just talking, and everything is just backwards of what reality really is, and they're trying to sell this crap to you. This is why everybody's turned their heads. So it's good riddance to all of them. This is why what we do is so important, Paymon. It's because you can't rely on institutions anymore because it's so easy to corrupt 6 people. A government can buy them off. You can't buy 50 million people or, a million news reporters.
There's something. Devin Nunes is now the CEO of Truth Social. He was a congressman, and he said the only thing these people, the left, understand is pain. And what he meant by pain was you either fine them or you give them lengthy prison sentences. That just shaming them is not going to work. They're violating the law. They don't care.
Yes, but you're talking the politicians, right?
Yeah. People who break the congressmen, the senators, the judges.
So far, no consequences for anything. Nothing.
Yeah, look, man, Sam. If I break the law and I steal $1 million and I don't go to jail, I'm going to do it again and again and again. And if they're going to give me they're actually going to promote me, like you make me a senator. The lesson I'm going to learn is, break the law. There's no consequences.
Right. Okay. No, I get it. This is the issue we've been facing, is there is no consequences. So far, name other than somebody that's an underling that they used as a patsy, who has ever went to jail for any crimes? No, nobody. Certainly not on the left.
Well, they typically don't, unless it's somebody on the right they want to make an example of, like General Flynn, Jan Sixers.
Well, and they manufacture all the stuff. He didn't do any of that stuff. He didn't do anything they said. That was the comical part. It was all manufactured. It was all fake. Can you imagine having the government weaponize the FBI to go after you?
Steve Bannon.
Yeah. Exactly. Create all fake charges and then have fake evidence to go along with it and say, if you don't do this, you're going to be in jail for the rest of your life. I mean,
it's frustrating, yeah.
If you're Donald Trump, you could just go F you. Good luck. I got as much money as you. There's not enough hours in a day for lawyers. You can't run me out of money. So good luck to you. But that's not everybody else.
They say the process is the punishment. They just.
Well, look, here's what needs to happen. They need to take all these people to jail. Or take them to court. They need to start embarrassing the living crap out of them. They need to start beating them up and taking all their goddamn money. So, at least you actually have hard evidence. So it's not like you're manufacturing stuff. Once that happens, then people will feel like they at least got some kind of justice out of it.
You know how I said, Devin Nunes said the only thing they understand is pain. Well, what you can do is you can use this lawfare where your entire aim is to drag these people to the courts like they've done to everyone on the right. Make them understand the pain. Like you take George Soros and 100 or 1,000 people like them, and you drag them through the courts for 3 years. Let's see how they like it. And let's see if they're going to think twice about doing it again.
I saw, what's the gentleman's name that committed the mortgage fraud, California and in DC?
Ponzi guy?
No, he's a politician. Schiff, Adam Schiff.
Oh.
So do you know Schiff has a fund for when he gets indicted, where the people are going to be paying for his courts?
I didn't know that.
I didn't either, but I saw it. He has an actual fund, so he doesn't have to put out any money of his own pocket. It'll be the people that do.
Right. They're going to do that, but what we have to do is, if you overwhelm the system, it gets to a point where the people just can't fund every single crooked politician in the Democrat Party.
Yeah. Yeah. We got another citizen journalist coming in here. So it looks like Aya. So is that anybody from your crowd? Do you know? AYA, I think it is. AYA.
Not that I know, but I'm happy to take the credit if you want to give me a.
Yes, no, we get them all the time. At least 4 or 5 new ones a day come in. So, but that's cool. Yeah, payment. All this, I'm very optimistic about what's happening. Okay, so I really am. I think that what happens here is going to spread, and when we get our house in order or get it fixed, that it's in the process of, then Canada's going to want that to happen for them. And it will be a slow process because the people in power don't want to give it up. The people could speed it up and pull out their guns and start getting rid of everybody. I'm not condoning violence, even though I'm just saying, you want to speed up the process. That's how you do it. You want to get rid of the evil people and get law and order. The only way to do it is to get rid of the people that are standing in your way. So you either do it through lawfare or some other. I mean, look, how many kings have ever stepped down because the people said, we're not happy with you? Oh, I'm so sorry. Who would you like to be here? It never happens. And that's the issue. So if you want to get rid of them, you got to get rid of them. And how you guys do it. And you also have a lot of people that like what they have there, right? So therein lies the problem. It almost would be easier, since they like it, is for you guys to secede.
Yeah, but that comes with a lot of problems as well. Everyone's scared. Because everybody has such a cushy lifestyle. This isn't the 1700s where, you're roughing it out on the borderlands. People are thinking like, will I be able to get my pumpkin spice latte if we secede? So it's got its own problems now.
Well, I would say nothing would change other than you would create your own form of government.
Yeah, I wish, man. It's a dream.
I don't know. I mean, that's a fight you guys got to do, but I'm telling you, something's got to change because what you're doing is not sustainable, just like what wasn't here. You can't spend $4 trillion and bring in two. It just mathematically doesn't work. You guys are on a smaller scale, but I'm sure you guys are in debt, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
As every single country is, because whenever you're spending anybody else's money, it's just so easy.
That's the problem. Sam, I'm gonna let you go. I've been very greedy with your time. I've had you on for an hour and a half, but man, I enjoyed this.
Me too, Pamela. Thanks for having me on, and we'll be on again. My game plan now is to get this equity crowdfund finished, start the next one. So this is why the marketing company I brought in, because once we get this dialed in, then we can start really hitting it hard. And we could start scaling this. And instead of bringing in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people a day, we could bring in 50 and 100. And then it just starts to mushroom. And that's where your value comes. So looking forward to it. Glad you created an account. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. All right.
Yeah, you're most welcome. And thank you very much for coming on, and best of luck, Sam.
Thank you, bud. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Bye.